especially our present Dravidian model, has done for empowering women and improving the status and life of women, madam. Madam, apart from the taxation which is being done to Tamil Nadu faced huge calamities, madam. 2 years we had huge calamities where we had implored to the union government to provide from the National Disaster Relief Fund to the tune of about 40,000 odd crores, madam. Despite repeated pleas, we have not had the amount required. We have only been given a paltry amount of 200 crores as grievance, madam. Madam, it is a very, very sad state of affairs where we have given 5.6 lakh crores to the union government, and even during a disaster where people have died, people have suffered, people have lost property, people have lost their livelihood, the government does not have any courtesy or pity on these people, madam. It is a shameful thing that the government is treating people of Tamil Nadu this way. Madam, apart from that, this government is talking about education and the importance of education, madam. Recently, they have introduced this National Education Policy 2020, and in which they are talking about a 3-language formula, and where the union government was to release a fund of 2,152 crores. We have been asking for that, and they have been blackmailing the state government, saying that unless you introduce the national education policy with the 3-language formula, we will not release that 2,152 crores, madam. And our Honorable Chief Minister has made it abundantly clear that even if you give 10,000 crores, we will not implement the 3-language policy. Let me explain about the 3-language policy, madam. Madam, you claim that 3-language policy has been implemented throughout the country, madam. But I would like to ask one question. If that is the case, why is it that most of the North MPs, people from the North, most of them do not speak English? Why is it that most of them do not speak English excepting Hindi? I would challenge anybody in this parliament, madam, if people from the North, apart from Hindi, is there any other language that they can talk? They are talking about a 3-language policy where they know nothing other than Hindi, whereas in South, they expect us to learn 3 languages, madam. I think this is an unfair way of treating people, especially the students, madam. We feel that 2-language policy has helped Tamil Nadu go a long way. We have economically, where at the time of freedom, we were one of the 3rd poorest states in the country, and now we are the 2nd richest country, madam. And this performance has been achieved because of our policies, madam. Madam, coming to the GST, madam, the GST has become nothing but a tax terrorism, madam. People are going about where business houses are being threatened and they are being looted out of their money, where it is being done in a very unconstitutional way. It is almost like a terrorism, madam, where they are threatening these people and they are collecting this money. And also, there has been several representations where people who are lame, where they are having processes needed, they have been charged 18% of GST, madam. I feel that it is a shameful thing that the government is trying to make money even out of people's misery, madam. So I would expect this government to reconsider the GST rates for most of the processes and life-saving devices, so that the life of the patients is made much better, madam. Madam, when you're talking about the electoral bonds, Mahua had already mentioned, Honorable MP, she had mentioned that the electoral bonds, whether it will be reintroduced again. I would like to point out that the finance minister, even after the court had said that it is illegal and unconstitutional, the Honorable Finance Minister had said that we will bring back electoral bonds again. I feel that the concept of electoral bonds was nothing using the Enforcement Directorate. I would not want to use the terminology Enforcement Directorate, madam. I would say that it is an extortion department. They have been extorting where every time, if you see the pattern, when the details were revealed, when the data was revealed, it was seen that there is an ED raid on the person, and then there is electoral bond amount which has been paid. So this is the way in which this government has been extorting money out of business houses. Even when you're coming to this finance bill, the finance bill gives authority for the income tax officials to break into their virtual spaces, madam, to go and crack open their codes and get all the data, where even the middle income people will probably not be spared from the clutches of this government, madam. They probably are going to be suffering more, and that is one of the reasons why Honorable MP Mr. Shashi Tharoor had talked about the high net worth individuals who are leaving this country. The reason why they are leaving this country is because the tax terrorism and the way the people are being treated is something which is totally unacceptable, madam. Madam, the Honorable Prime Minister is talking about Viksit Bharat, which I inquired and found out that it means a developed India. To make yourself a developed country, madam, when I last checked, the per capita income should be about $15,000, madam. But currently, India has only a per capita income of about $2,500. And I would also like to point out that Tamil Nadu's per capita income is about $4,000, madam. And with $2,500 to say that we are going to become a developed nation, I think is fooling the people of this country, madam. Because to become $15,000 per capita income, your GDP has to be about $22 trillion. Right now, we are struggling to even achieve $5 trillion. Nishikant Dubey was talking about the number of people who are relinquishing their citizenship was about 22%. I find that very, very hard to believe, and I think he has to substantiate it, madam, because the population, total population of US is about 40 crores roughly, and out of 40 crores, if you're talking about 22, you're talking about 8.8 crore people who have left the country. I feel, in fact, there have been complaints about migration migrants going in, so many millions of migrants who are going in. So I wish that Mr. Nishikant Dubey will check and get the facts and submit it to this parliament, madam, because like every other lie, whatever the treasury benches has been pervading, I think this is going to be under the radar, and I would like that to be corrected on record, madam. Very good. Madam, when we are talking about the amount of money which has been written off, 18 lakh crore has been written off for as NPA, and Honorable Finance Minister was trying to explain that they are trying to recover that money. But trying to recover that money is not something which will be possible, because if they were to do that, they would have done that already, madam. If it has not been done so far, I feel that no way they will be able to retrieve that. But at the same time, when the Honorable Prime Minister had promised that the farmers' income will be doubled, instead of doing that, at least you can waive their loans, madam. The government of Tamil Nadu has done several instances where they have waived loans for farmers, madam. Madam, one last point I would like to say. Honorable Prime Minister, 10 years back, when he was coming into the office, he gave a promise that he will give us 2 crore jobs, 15 lakhs into everyone's account, reduce the rate of the dollar, reduce the rate of petrol. None of that has been achieved in the last 10 years, madam. It is shameful that a government of this caliber is allowed to continue, and I would request the minority government, which is being held up by the TDP and JDU, those people also to reflect on the promises made and what they have achieved, and take necessary steps during the delimitation process. Kindly ensure that fairness is there during the delimitation process, and also ensure that Hindi, the triple language formula policy is abolished, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for allowing me to speak on the Finance Bill 2025. I have four areas of focus, ma'am. Before I get into that, let me start off by congratulating the Finance Minister for 2 issues, ma'am. The first issue is the indirect tax collection has risen by almost 16.2% compared to the last year, ma'am. Second issue that I want to congratulate her is with regards to there is a tax exemption given up to 12 lakh rupees for the income tax payer, ma'am. There's almost 1 lakh crore that has been foregone by the government. But still, the assumption is that by next year, there will be increase of 13.4% in tax receipts, ma'am. So this shows the confidence in the Indian economy and in the Indian financial system, ma'am. I congratulate her for these 2 issues, ma'am. Coming to the 4 focus areas that I have. The first one, ma'am, it is regarding faceless e-assessment. I have a data from 2017 to 2021-22, ma'am. This system has made, this faceless assessment has made the system very transparent and also made very efficient, ma'am. But there are almost 5,98,448 cases in this period of 2017 to 2021. They have been filed. And out of these, close to 6 lakh appeals, 73% of the appeals have been disposed of. Still, there are 27% of the appeals that have not been disposed of, ma'am. So the amount that is being locked up, because these appeals are not being disposed of, amount that is being locked up at any point of the time is almost 58 lakh crores, ma'am. So if I extrapolate that of the disposed 73% and calculate based on the 27% that has not been disposed of, it is almost 15 lakh crores of money that has been locked up in the system, ma'am. So I request the finance minister to clarify on the way forward so that this locked up amount can be released, so that it can be released into the second focus area is, ma'am, it's regard to the GST collection. It has grown by almost 77% from 11 lakh crore in 2020 to 20 lakh crore in 23-24, ma'am. But with the growth in the GST collections, there are also pending appeals that have grown from 5,000 to 15,000 in the last 5 years. This is almost 3 times the growth. So the way forward is, there are 2 ways that are there. The first one is whether we are going to take the 15th Finance Commission recommendation and make certain changes to the rates and merge them and make the GST simplified so that it's easier for the GST payers. And second way forward is, there are a lot of state goods and service tax appellate tribunals at the state level which are not functional, ma'am. I think the union government has to handhold the states and make these tribunals functional, ma'am. So if you do these 2 things, definitely these pending appeals that have been raising will be curtailed, and this will in a way add to the revenues of the state also, ma'am. And third focus area is the custom duty collection. In 25-26 budget that has been presented by the finance minister, the expectation of the custom duties is around 2,40,000 crores. That is almost 5.6% of the gross tax revenues, ma'am. But when we are hearing for the last 3 or 4 months after that Trump has come into power in US, with regards to the tariff regime that is going to be effectively come in coming months. So this 2,40,000 crores, whether this can be with the new tariff regime that is going to come, if this will be reduced, if it is reduced, how this can be compensated and from where it can be compensated. If the finance minister can clarify on this, that will be great, ma'am. And the fourth focus point is with regards to the total capex. Total capex that we have spent in the last 10 years is 50 lakh crores that have been spent, ma'am. This is an amazing achievement that we have made in the last 10 years. And with this 50 lakh crore that have been spent in the last 10 years, our railways have been ranked top 5 globally. Our metros have become 3rd largest in the world. Our airports have become 3rd largest domestic aviation market in the world. Our national highways have become 2nd largest in the world. This has been achieved within 10 years. This is not that easy to achieve, but this was able to achieve because of the hard investments that have been made into the infrastructure in the last 10 years. But in the last 2 years, most importantly, in the last 2 years, there's an underutilization of the capex. In the last year, there was 75,000 of underutilization. Before that year, there was almost 25,000. In total, there was 1 lakh crores of underutilization of capex that has happened in the last 2 years, ma'am. So why I'm mentioning about this underutilization is, instead of keeping it underutilized, can we bring it into the system? How we can bring it into the system? Can we invest in the new technologies that are coming about? We can invest in the R&D activities. Why we have to invest in the R&D activities?